Hey everyone, welcome back to Final Trade. We're going to do something a little different today. Take out a binder of cards that I prepared over 20 years ago of the stuff that at the time I thought was the total hotness out of my collection. It's most of the really what I thought was cool and rare and valuable. It's funny now looking back on it because a lot of this stuff has very little value, or you could get on TCG Player and probably replace this entire binder for you know $200 or something, maybe a little more than that, but not much. So I played a lot of red burn decks and red decks in general back then, and so of course four ball lightnings. And I remember specifically at one point I bought a ball lightning from a kid at school for $6, and I was just like, oh man, it's so awesome, I could just buy one for $6. I'm so glad to have four of them finally. And you go online today and you can get them for like $1, $2. You can get an original black bordered ball lightning from the dark. I want to say it's like 20 or $30 or something like that, the original printing of it. But that's it's kind of a good example of how we valued a lot of these things a lot higher 20 years ago than we do now, because now we have this connected internet based market to trade these things and to do proper price discovery on most of them. And so we realized that ball lightning's not really that valuable. um, Relentless Assault, great. Visions rare. I love that card because you could play a ball lightning and then you could play a Relentless Assault. Shivan Dragon, this goes back to the kind of thing that I talk about a lot, that all of us as kids who didn't understand game theory and just weren't that good at Magic, most of us, we all liked big creatures, and hey, if they flew, even better. I think I had two or three Shivan Dragons. This is the great one from Revised, where they printed it wrong and it just says pay a red, get +1/+0. It doesn't say anything about until end of turn, then it stops. Curd it's kind of cool. Joko Hops, kids used to like to play cards like that because they thought it was fun to be disruptive. Most of them weren't playing cards like that because it was part of some type of strategy for their deck, unless they were playing like, was it Rack Balance or something that I think had Wrath of God and Armageddon in it? I can't remember. But they'd play stuff like that just to kind of be jerks. And there was even one kid who would play Apocalypse, which is just like the dumbest mass destruction card there is. It's bury all permanents, and then the caster has to also discard his hand. It was just. I wish more of us would have understood how to play cards like this strategically. I also played a lot of little white creature decks, and so I had a smattering of these kind of things. I didn't even have four white knights. I only had one Swords to Plowshares, two Spirit Links, and a Savannah Lion. But I had the other junk like Benalish Heroes and Pikemen and Mesa Pegasus and Parapet and Castle. Of course, four Crusades. You'll see in a little bit. Um, I played a little bit of black decks, but it was mostly like the late Tempest block, suicide type black decks with Carnophage and what's it, Sarcomancy, I think it was, and Priest of Gix, that kind of stuff. And then of course it all revolved around what was the kill card? It was Hatred or something like that. It was pay X life to give a creature +X/+0 until end of turn. Yeah, the page of what I thought were the greatest white cards ever. And, arguably Land Tax is a really great card, and Crusade is really good. I think later on they released a card that was the exact same effect, but instead of two white, it was one white, one colorless. And it's like, are you guys at WotC really so out of ideas that you just take an old card and you look at it and you're like, how can we just make this more powerful with no drawback? But I guess my one copy of Land Tax, love that card. I'd love to get some more of those. They're running like $20, $30 each now, and I ought to just go ahead and buy a couple because I love them. Aspect of Wolf, why is that in there? I have no idea. Looks like a revised Aladdin's Ring with the original artwork. My collection of racks and cursed racks and black vices. my one Nevin Earls disc as another great destruction card. I would use that in my red decks just to wipe out creatures and artifacts. Looks like a false orders from Unlimited. I know I had a handful of unlimited cards, maybe like 20 or so, but I don't know why that one got in there and no others. Maybe it's just kind of the striking coloring on that. Doesn't really come through on the camera. I've had to change the lighting setup to do this video because when I had my normal light on, it was making too much glare off these plastic sleeves. Control Magic. I don't even know that that's really that rare or valuable, but man, the kids who knew how to play that would wipe the floor with everyone. This Keldoran Outpost, I remember I bought that at a card store in downtown Houston. I paid like $12 for it, and I just thought I was getting ripped off so bad. And recently I went back and I looked to see what you could buy them for, and they're pretty hard to get, and they're a lot more expensive now. Squandered Resources, Natural Balance, and Prosperity. Wasn't this, were these two a combo? And it was like Prosperity plus something Bloom. It was Pros Bloom was the deck that caused so many problems. I can't remember exactly. A couple of Wastelands there. And then from the Unglued set, the Jester Sombrero and the 2-card 15 black mana 99/99 monster. I think I actually played that a couple times. Man. So this is the only page I've modified since I dug this out. I added these 2 gold bordered World Championship Curse Scrolls into here to go with 2 of my other ones. I have 1 more Curse Scroll that's in my Tempest set binder. And but yeah, Curse Scroll was just it was probably the single most consistently sought after card at the time that I was playing, which was just in the heat of the Tempest block. And you know, if you went to a card store, you'd pay 30 or $35 for a Curse Scroll, and I guess the prices are finally getting that up that high again nowadays, since it's a reserve list card and everybody's just sinking a bunch of money into Magic cards again. Mana Flare takes a lot of heat for kind of being a bad card, but you know, when you played that in the library in high school, everyone else would be like, "Oh yeah," because you know, now it meant they could play all their ridiculous high cost combos. So it was a crowd pleaser, but it's kind of a bad card. Royal Assassin from Revised. What else we got? My collection of terrors from different sets. 1 foreign language. I saw one of these that was released sometime in the early 2000s, and it was a full art one of those special cards that doesn't have the actual play text on it. I don't remember. These look like some kind of life counter thing. I don't remember what those came from. Occupation Villain. Yeah, thanks. Poor Squee. His occupation is Bug Eater. Most embarrassing moment, mixing up the cooking pot and the sluice bucket for the 3rd time in a week. Poor guy. So yeah, that's it. The rest is just empty pages. But, you know, 20 years ago, poor high school kid thought this was the be-all, end-all of an awesome Magic collection. It's funny, I was talking to someone recently and they asked me, did anybody you played with in high school have Power 9? And I was like, oh god, no, I don't think I ever saw any of those cards playing at school, because by then it was 1998 or so. So all those original Power 9s were printed, I think, in 1993. And so, you know, the people we were playing with would have been in like 5th grade at the time when those cards were printed, so most of them didn't even have them, and you know, Magic just wasn't as big of a thing then. Nobody knew in 1993 that it would take off to what it was in 1998, and what it's kind of up and down continued to be over the years since. So hope y'all enjoyed that. I don't know if I should take most of these cards out and just kind of file them away in my set, or leave this binder how it is as kind of a preserved memory, or what. Maybe I should add to it. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Thanks, guys.